When I boarded the plane for my business trip to Italy, I never thought it would be the last time I felt secure in my marriage. I kissed Daniel goodbye at the airport, his arms wrapped around me with a warmth that promised stability, love, and trust. We had been married for 5 years, and though we had our ups and downs, I thought we were stronger than most couples. I had been hoping that this trip would be the turning point for us, something to break the monotony and give us the space we needed to appreciate one another again. The trip was intense, late-night meetings, endless networking dinners, and too much coffee. I returned exhausted but happy to be home. Daniel welcomed me with flowers and an almost childlike grin. For the first time in months, he seemed excited to see me. We spent the weekend together, cooking, laughing, and falling asleep in each other's arms. It felt like old times, and I thought maybe, just maybe, things were healing. But a month later, everything changed. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor, the pregnancy test shaking in my hands. 2 pink lines stared back at me. My breath caught, and a tear slid down my cheek, not out of sadness, but of overwhelming joy. Daniel and I had been trying for a baby for almost 2 years without success. The thought that it was finally happening filled me with hope. I rehearsed how I would tell him. Maybe a dinner surprise, maybe a note tucked in his work bag. But I couldn't keep it in. I rushed to him immediately, bursting with excitement. "Dan," I whispered, holding the test in my hand, "we're going to have a baby." For a second, his eyes lit up, but just as quickly, the light vanished. His jaw tightened, his smile faltered, and he stepped back. "That's not possible," he said flatly. I blinked, confused. "What do you mean, not possible? We've been trying for so long." He cut me off, shaking his head. "No, Anna. It doesn't make sense. The timing doesn't add up. You were gone for 2 weeks. A month later, suddenly you're pregnant? Do you expect me to believe this child is mine?" My stomach dropped. I felt as if the floor had been pulled from beneath me. "Daniel, what are you saying? You know we were together the weekend I came back. It could have happened then." But he was unmoved. His eyes were cold, calculating, as if he were studying a stranger and not his wife. "Or it could have happened with someone else while you were away." The accusation hit harder than any slap. I stared at him, my heart breaking in real time. "You think I cheated on you? Tell me I'm wrong," he challenged, his voice laced with venom. I couldn't even find words. I had spent nights alone in hotel rooms, missing him, calling him when I could, and here he was accusing me of betrayal. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel grew distant. He started sleeping in the guest room, coming home late, avoiding conversations. My joy for the baby was overshadowed by his distrust. I tried everything, showing him my travel itinerary, my late-night call logs, even emails from colleagues. But no matter what I offered, he clung to his belief that the baby wasn't his. One night, I found him sitting at the kitchen table, staring at his phone. His face was pale, his hands trembling. When I asked what was wrong, he finally admitted it: a colleague had planted the idea in his head. Someone told him they had heard things about me on the trip. A rumor. A whisper. Nothing more. But Daniel had taken it as gospel truth. I was furious. "You'd believe a stranger's gossip over your own wife?" He didn't answer. His silence was worse than any insult. The breaking point came when he suggested a paternity test. I felt as though our entire marriage had been reduced to a lab result. Still, I agreed, because I had nothing to hide. Weeks later, the results came back: the baby was his. The evidence was undeniable. But the damage was already done. Instead of apologizing, Daniel tried to justify his doubt. "You have to understand, Anna, the timing was strange. I just..." "No," I interrupted, my voice steady for the first time in months. "You don't get to explain away the fact that you abandoned me when I needed you most. You accused me of something vile without even giving me the benefit of the doubt. You didn't trust me, Daniel. And trust is everything." Tears welled in his eyes, but I had none left to give. I had cried enough for both of us. As my belly grew, so did the distance between us. I stopped sharing updates with him. Doctor's appointments became my private moments. Kicks and heartbeats, things that should have brought us closer, were mine alone to cherish. I learned to love my child fiercely, independently, without leaning on him. The night I packed my bags, he begged me to stay. He swore he loved me, that he was just scared, that he wanted to make it right. But his words felt hollow, too little, too late. Love without trust isn't love at all, I told him, my hand resting on my stomach. You didn't just doubt me, you doubted us. And I can't raise a child in a house built on suspicion. And with that, I walked away. Months later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Holding her in my arms, I felt a kind of strength I didn't know I had. She was mine, a living reminder that I didn't need Daniel's approval, or his faith, to be whole. Every so often, he tries to reach out, asking for photos, updates, a chance to see her. I let him, but only on my terms. Because while he may be her father by blood, trust and loyalty are what make a family, and those, he threw away. I still look back sometimes, wondering how quickly love can turn into doubt, how easily whispers can destroy what took years to build. But then I see my daughter's eyes, so full of innocence and possibility, and I know I made the right choice. I may have lost a husband, but I gained something far greater, a life that is mine to shape, free of suspicion, built on truth. And in that truth, I found my freedom.